President Barack Obama on Thursday, warning Iran that the U.S. won't talk forever. Representatives from the United States, UK, France, Germany, Russia, and China met in Geneva this week with Iran's chief nuclear negotiator, Saeed Jalili. Iran reportedly agreed to grant UN inspectors access to its newly disclosed uranium enrichment facility at Qum. So will our patience pay off? Iranian journalist Amir Taheri joins me now from London. Amir Taheri, great to have you back on the program. So the New York Times said that the Iranians have made key concessions. Do you agree with that?
Not at all. In fact, the negotiations were about 3 United Nations resolutions that demanded that Iran should stop uranium enrichment. Now the negotiations are no longer about that, but about IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors being allowed to inspect one of the sites that Iran has declared. So from disarmament, it became inspection.
Well, but what about the ability to at least inspect this new site, which was only disclosed last week? Iran had not previously disclosed it, and I guess U.S. intelligence had known about it but didn't tell anybody else. Isn't it good that we could get access to that?
Well, yes, but Iran is obliged to allow access under the Non-Proliferation Treaty, and other Iranian sites are under inspection by the IAEA. There are, in fact, cameras installed in all other Iranian sites, and this one would have happened in the same way, but there is absolutely no concession there. I don't see why the IAEA inspectors who are in Tehran actually right now don't drive to this new site. It is an hour's drive, and have a look at it now. Iran has promised to allow them to go there within the next few weeks. Why shouldn't they go there now? Why should we wait so that everything is sanitized there?
What about the willingness of Iran, and they've said they might be willing to do this, to take uranium, some of the uranium which they've enriched, and this is the fuel that could be used to make a nuclear weapon, take that enriched uranium and move about 75% of it outside of Iran to Russia or France. Isn't that a concession?
Not at all, because that was also an idea put in by Mr. Putin of Russia about 3 years ago. The real issue is that the UN asked Iran not to enrich uranium. Now, it is like haggling in a carpet bazaar. As long as you buy the main carpet, they will give you some caviar, they will give you some tea, they will give you a little rug, they will kiss you on both cheeks and so on. But the rug, you have bought it, and the rug that Mr. Obama has bought is Iran's right to continue to enrich uranium.
So your conclusion would be that Iranian leaders have no intention of giving up their nuclear weapons program?
Absolutely not. And, to be honest, they say it themselves openly, again and again, only you don't want to hear it in the United States. They say categorically that Iran will not stop its nuclear project, period. Now, let's talk about other things, about Palestine, about global warming, about trade, about the reform of the United Nations. They have given a package in which everything is mentioned, sadly not saving the whales.
So put yourself in the head of the Iranian leaders. I mean, if that's their intention, then what do they hope to achieve from these talks? Because President Obama says the ultimate goal is to get them to cease and desist with the military program.
Well, they achieved 3 things. First of all, they achieved some legitimacy at the time that Ahmadinejad has lost quite a bit of his legitimacy because of the recent elections and the continued unrest in the country. His opponents say that his policies are leading to sanctions and war. Now he's able, in fact, today in Tehran, he says, you see, I won without sanctions and without war. So, that is the first gain he makes. The second gain is to save the right to continue enriching uranium. You could do it at a slower pace, but, the fact that you can continue doing it, and now everybody is accepting that right, is really a major coup for Ahmadinejad. And thirdly, to buy time until, the mechanisms of American electoral system and so on paralyze the Obama administration, or there are other elections, other people come and so on. And by that time, Iran is already a nuclear power, and it's too late for anybody to do anything about it. And in the meantime, while the negotiations continue, of course, there is no possibility of anybody attacking the Iranian nuclear centers. At the same time, President Obama has asked the Congress not to pass a bill banning the sale of gasoline to Iran.
Which would be a much more difficult sanction.
Yes, so Iran is protected both against military action against it and sanctions with these talks. And these talks, of course, President Obama says cannot go on indefinitely, but Iran doesn't want them indefinitely. Iran wants them for the next 18 months to 2 years, not indefinitely. And that would be quite enough. And at this pace, the talks will last that long.
All right. Well, we'll be following them every step of the way. Amir Taheri, thanks so much for being here.